Hey BookTube, welcome back to the History Shelf. My name is Peg. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining me. Today we're doing a little book haul of some various fiction titles I've picked up, mostly from a fairly recent Hamilton book haul and or a book outlet haul. I forget which one I ordered it from, but they're mostly historical fiction. With some different books, kind of just odds and ends, I'm just going to include in this video anyway. So let's dive in without any further ado. Let's see here. This one I was really pleased to get. Now, it's not historical fiction at all. Like I said, this is going to be an odds and ends book here, but I'm trying to remember. I think it was from Hamilton book. Anyway, the publisher is Verso Books. I know my friend John David, BookTube, really enjoys that publishing company and their books. When I saw this on Hamilton book, I was like, I've got to get this. This is Oscar Wilde, you guys. It's In Praise of Disobedience, with an introduction by Neil Bartlett. So this book right here, let me just read this to you really quick. In 1891, Oscar Wilde was at the peak of his powers, provoking the British public with paradoxical essays, entertaining its children with heartrending fairy tales, and publishing his notorious novel from Lippincott's Monthly Magazine. By the end of that year, he had written the first of his phenomenally successful plays and embarked on the love affair that would lead to imprisonment and public opprobrium. I love that word. In Praise of Disobedience brings together the works of that spectacular year. Included here are the entirety of Wilde's foray into political philosophy, The Soul of Man Under Socialism, which is what I really wanted to read. That was really why I got this book, because I wanted to read that smaller work. This also includes the complete essay collection Intentions, selections from The Picture of Dorian Gray, as well as its witty and scandalous preface, and two of Wilde's short stories. The selections are accompanied by stimulating and enlightening annotations in this edition. A delight for fans and newcomers alike, In Praise of Disobedience offers the chance to reconsider Wilde's often underestimated legacy of radical experiment in both thought and form. In his introduction, playwright and novelist Neil Bartlett explains what made this point in Wilde's life central to his genius and why he remains a provocative and radical figure to this day. So yeah, definitely wanted to read his, what would you call it, a treatise? The Soul of Man Under Socialism. That's the main reason why I bought this book. And it's, it's not a long work at all, but I wanted to read it. And there's another one here on the decay of lying, a dialogue. I believe this book might still be available on Hamilton Books if you're interested. I probably got it for like, I don't know. It ranges from like $5.95 up to $9.95. Probably I'm going to say this was more like $6 or $7.95. But yeah, I picked that one up. And, I guess let me share this one. Again, we're doing the odds and ends ones first, and then we'll get into a few of the historical fiction. This one was one of the larger editions of the New York Review of Books Classics series. And it's a collection of letters. And as I've said before in this channel, I love reading letters between folks. And this I picked up is In Tearing Haste, Letters Between Deborah Devonshire and Patrick Lee Fermor, edited by Charlotte Mosley. Now, Deborah, the Duchess of Devonshire, was actually one of the Mitford sisters. So it does include, as you can see, it's like the New York Review of Books Classics logo there. It has two sets of photos, two sets of inserts, I should say. So plenty of those. And let me give you a little feel for this. It just sounded like it might be a fun read. Let me get this keyboard out of my way. I'm telling you, I'm getting a bigger desk. I'm going to get a U-shaped desk because I need to have my paperwork and books on either side of me. I've got so much going on. In the spring of 1954, Deborah, Duchess of Devonshire, née Mitford, invited the writer and war hero Patrick Leigh Fermor to visit Lismore Castle, the Devonshires' house in Ireland. The halcyon visit sparked a deep friendship and a lifelong exchange of highly entertaining correspondence. When something caught their interest and they knew the other would be amused, they sent off a letter. There are glimpses of President Kennedy's inauguration, weekends at Sandringham, filming with Errol Flynn, the wedding of Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles. Wow. And above all, daily life. Whether at Chatsworth, the legendary estate that Debo devoted herself to restoring, or on the Mani, the southernmost peninsula of Greece, where Paddy and his wife spent much of their time. Rarely have there been such contrasting styles. Debo, smart, idiosyncratic, and funny, darts from subject to subject, dashing off letters in her breezy, spontaneous style. Paddy, the polyglot and widely read virtuoso, replies in the fluent, polished manner that has earned him recognition as one of the finest writers in the English language. So the time frame of these letters is from 1954 to 2007. Okay, so it sounds pretty interesting. And I already have a collection of the New York Review of Books Classics books, and this one was super marked down. I said, I'm going to pick it up. All right. Now let's go into where's the other one? I thought I had two. Okay. I don't think I'll have all of them here. One moment. I'm going to find this. Okay, I'm back. Thank you. Plus, I needed to turn the lamp on because it's getting dark out. I thought I know I have a couple more of these books, but I'll just show them. One of them that I picked up. It's a mystery set in New York City, 1910. The writer, I really loved her recent book that came out, The Wharton Plot. The writer is Mariah Fredericks, and I wrote a review of The Wharton Plot for Library Journal, and I really loved it. I loved her writing. I loved her, the author really grabbed me. I was like, and I've never read anything of hers before. Well, apparently she has this series of mysteries with this Jane Prescott. So this is one of them, and it was really marked down, so I picked up A Death of No Importance by Mariah Fredericks. I don't know. I picked up the other. I think I have the complete set of these Jane Prescotts, and for some reason I cannot. They must be still downstairs. But I could have sworn I had brought all these books upstairs. But anyway, let's see. New York City, 1910. Invisible until she's needed, Jane Prescott has perfected the art of serving as a lady's maid to the city's upper echelons. When she takes up a position with the Benchley family, dismissed by the city's elite as new money, Jane realizes that while she may not have financial privilege, she has a power they do not. She understands the rules of high society. The Benchleys cause further outrage when their daughter Charlotte becomes engaged to notorious playboy Norrie, the son of the eminent Newsom family. But when Norrie is found murdered at a party, Jane discovers she is uniquely positioned. She's a woman no one sees, but who witnesses everything. Who possesses no social power but that of fierce intellect, and therefore has the tools to solve his murder. Let's see here. Through her exquisite prose, sharp observation, and deft plotting, Mariah Fredericks invites us into the heart of a changing New York in her remarkable debut adult novel. Okay, so this is the first in the Jane Prescott series. Fantastic. I'll find the other two. It's bothering me now. I think they're downstairs. Yes, they are. I know where they are now. I got books everywhere, guys, and I just can't keep track of them sometimes. Like I said, I really loved her recent book, The Wharton Plot. It was just... she wrote in the voice of Edith Wharton. It was delicious. Oh, the bon mots and the one-liners. I mean, it was really, really entertaining. So I highly recommend The Wharton Plot. So I was just like, let me explore more of this writer's works, because when someone when I like a book that much, I'm like, I've got to see what else they've written, So check out Mariah Fredericks, guys. I'd start with the Wharton plot. Oh, here's one. Okay, so let's show this book. This was a recent book that came out, and I was going to review it, and then I realized it had already been reviewed with the place that I review with, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that didn't work out, but I still want to read it. Oh, I see. No, I'm realizing something about this book. Anyway, this is The Murder of Andrew Johnson, a novel by Bert Solomon. Doesn't that look great? And it has a blurb by Doris Kearns Goodwin. You can't go wrong with that. Oh, I see. And because it's put out by Forge Books. The two other books, I think, in this series are The Murder of Willie Lincoln. Look at that. By Bert Solomon. And then The Attempted Murder of Teddy Roosevelt. So I might see if I like this. Yeah, apparently this is a series that, oh yeah, it's a John Hay mystery. Well, John Hay, isn't that the one of the private secretaries of Abraham Lincoln, right? I think so. Well, we got John Nicolay, and then I know it was Hay. So it says here, the next John Hay historical thriller from award-winning political journalist Bert Solomon, this time focused on one of America's most controversial presidents, Andrew Johnson. AJ. Andrew Johnson was called the Great Commoner, appealing to the masses, loathing the establishment and anyone he deemed elitist. Once Johnson made an enemy, you became his enemy for life. He saw insults where none were intended, and personal loyalty meant everything. And his devoted fans would follow him into the depths of hell. This sounds like something vaguely familiar. He was also the first U.S. president to be impeached. Time, however, waits for no man, and even the famous or infamous must leave this world eventually. But when a man has as many enemies as the devil, what death could really be a natural one? From political opponents to most of his own family, the suspects are endless, and the truth not really wanted. John Hay, lawyer, sometimes governmental bureaucrat, and now journeyman investigative reporter, is set on finding that truth, and it may wind up killing him. Fascinating. Yeah, so this came out, I think, last year. 2023. Yep, that's his latest novel. And I want to read it. What else do we have here? Let's take a look. Focus. So this book, I think I got it. Yeah, it was Hamilton book or somewhere, but it's really dinged up. It's also the fourth in a series. Focus. So I'm not quite sure. There we go. I'm not quite sure when I'll get around to it, but it's by Dorothy Dunnett, and it's Scales of Gold. The fourth book of the House of Nicolo. So it's the fourth book. I love the cover. I love the artwork, that piece of art that they're using on the front there. Very, very rich historical novel series. Let me read to you what the first book. It's when it says the House of Nicolo, it's Nicholas van der Pol of Bruges, in Bruges, right? So Bruges. So Nicholas van der Pol of Bruges. Let's see here. The good-natured dyer's apprentice who schemes and swashbuckles his way to the helm of a mercantile empire. So it's set in Bruges, 1460. Well, not this book, but I'm telling you about, because I don't want to, read this, because it's already, I kind of want to, catch up on the series, but this one was dirt cheap, so I thought, let me just pick it up, and then I'll go back and get the other three in one form or another. But, the first book is set in 1460. he rises from wastrel to prodigy in a breathless adventure, and there's a lot of swashbuckling going on. It says here this whole series combines history, adventure, and high romance in the tradition stretching from Alexander Dumas to Mary Renault. So, the first book is Niccolo Rising. That's the first book. Second book is The Spring of the Ram. The third book is Race of Scorpions. Then we have Scales of Gold. There's 8 books in the series, guys. And then it goes on from like the 5th is The Unicorn Hunt. 6 is To Lie with Lions. 7 is Caprice and Rondo. And the 8th is Gemini. And by Gemini, it's 1477. So, I mean, it covers like 17 years, obviously. So, interesting. Anyway, I thought I'd pick it up. If any of you have read Dorothy Dunnet, I think people have mentioned this before. They have. So, let me know. That would be fantastic. What else do we have here? Yes, I've been meaning to get these books. He has a lot of different series of books. This author has written about like Genghis Khan. He's written about the Tudors, the War of the Roses. This writer is Khan Iggulden. And I picked up 2 of his novels that are set in ancient Greece and ancient Athens. And I'm trying to figure out which series is which. And he's written about Rome as well. But this is just called the Athenian Series. Okay. And this is Protector. I love the cover. And I like getting these in hardcover. These are just great books. This is from Pegasus. It says here, the new epic in this best-selling author's Athenian series takes us on a vivid adventure where Themistocles will risk everything to defend his country. This one's all about the Battle of Salamis. The Battle of Salamis. Persian King Xerxes stands over the smoking ruins of Athens, an army of slaves at his back, come to destroy once and for all everything that the city stands for. He stares pitilessly at the hopelessly outnumbered Greeks. Veteran soldier Themistocles cannot push the Persians back by force on land, and so he does so by stealth at sea. Over 3 long days, the greatest naval battle of the ancient world will unfold, a bloody war between the democracy of Athens and the tyranny of Persia. And then it goes into the Battle of Plataea. Less than a year later, the Persians return to reconquer the Greeks. Tens of thousands of soldiers on both sides readied themselves for war. For the Spartans, Plataea is a chance to avenge their defeat at Thermopylae. For the people of Athens, threatened on all sides, nothing less than the survival of democracy is at stake. And once again, Themistocles, the hero of Salamis, will risk everything to protect his country. So there's a lot of adventure in this book. Nice, big, hefty, almost 400-page historical novel about times I love to read about, and battles I love to read about. So I got The Protector. And then, is this the other one? I think this is also part of the series. It makes sense that it would be. Yes. Well, okay, well, this is The Lion. I think this is the newest one in that series. A novel of ancient Athens. So we've got The Lion. Okay. Oh, it matches my shirt. Ooh. All right, let's see here. And this one goes into Pericles and the battlefields of the Peloponnesian War. So this definitely is the second book in the series. After the gods, after the myths and the legends, came the world of men, and in the front rank stood Pericles. Enter Pericles, the Lion of Athens. Behind him lies the greatest city of the ancient world. Before him stands the ferocious Persian army. Both sides are spoiling for war. But Pericles knows one thing. To fight a war, you must first win the peace. It's time for a hero to rise, for his enemies to tremble, and for a city to shine like a beacon. So that's the dust jacket blurb for this one. And this one's over 400 pages. So, yeah, I love novels about ancient Greece and Rome. And he's got a whole series called The Gates of Rome, I believe. I'm sure there's tons of you Con Golden fans out there. Please comment below in which books you think are his best ones. He's got the Emperor series, and that's Roman. The Conqueror series, which I believe is the one with Genghis Khan. His latest book, I still haven't picked up yet. I know it's out there on the bargain sites, and I just need to get it. But it's the Falcon of Sparta, and that's the one I really want to get. And I believe that is about Thermopylae. And of course, then he has his The Wars of the Roses series. But yeah, he's got a lot of books out there. He's written a lot. So, but these are like $5 each on Hamilton, so I picked them up. All right. This book is a sequel to a book that I picked up in paperback from Book Outlet a while ago. But it was in really bad shape, that paperback. It was one of those shipments where all the books were damaged, and I had to take pictures of all the books and ask for a refund, and they wanted photographic evidence. It's like, oh, really? God, Book Outlet, okay. Don't take my word for it, So I need to reorder the first book in the series, which is the first book is called Only Killers and Thieves, and this is set in Australia. So kind of like those stories. So this is the sequel, and I was able to get it in a nice hardcover. This is Paul Howarth, and this is Dust Off the Bones. Yeah, Only Killers and Thieves is the first book. It's about a pair of brothers. I won't read too much because I still need to read the first one. I don't want to, spoil anything here. But it says, the author of the acclaimed Only Killers and Thieves returns to turn-of-the-century Australia in this powerful sequel that follows the story of brothers Tommy and Billy McBride, the widow of their family's killer, Catherine Sullivan, and the sadistic native police officer, Edmund Noon. So the sequel is set in 1890. And there's a lot of stuff going on, and the brothers are estranged and all that kind of good stuff. So I'll leave it there for right now. I do want to get a better copy of Only Killers and Thieves, and then I can hop into these two stories. But yeah, this one was like crazy marked down, and I'm like, well, I'll pick it up because I do plan on reading the first one. All right. This book. This one's kind of different, and I think this one was sent to me as a review copy. I think. This came out late last year, I think. Oh, no. It came out last year. I think late summer. But it's set in Soviet Russia, because I'm fascinated, and I read everything about Russia and the Soviet Union, pretty much. Set in Soviet Russia in the 1970s. So this is a new book. And this is called Lost Believers by Irina Zhorov. This was put out by Scribner. So what is Lost Believers about? I will tell you. A rich, immersive debut novel inspired by true events about a meeting between two women in Soviet Russia in the 1970s. An ambitious scientist and a deeply religious homesteader living in isolation with her family on the Siberian taiga. An encounter that irrevocably changes the course of both of their lives. It says, Galina, a promising young geologist from Moscow, is falling in love with her pilot, Snow Crane, that's his name, Snow Crane, on a trip scouting for minerals in Siberia. As their helicopter hovers over what should be a stretch of uninhabited forest, they see a small hut and a garden. And the following day, when they hike from their field camp to the hut, they encounter a family. The youngest daughter, Agafia, was born in Siberia into a family of old believers, a small sect of Christians who rejected the reforms that shaped the modern Russian Orthodox Church. Her parents fled religious persecution decades earlier, and the family has lived in isolation in the forest ever since. When Galina and Snow Crane knock on the door of their small hut, they become the first two people Agafia has ever met outside of her immediate family. As the two women develop a friendship, each becomes conflicted about futures that once seemed certain, and each is hindered by the forces shaping their lives. Galina can't shake the confines of her Soviet upbringing, and Agafia's focus drifts from her faith to the beauty of the icy Siberian taiga. Even worse, Galina begins to see her work of opening minds as a threat to Agafia and her home, mirroring the exploitation of the natural world that is taking place across the Soviet Union. This is an unforgettable story about fate, ambition, and love. So debut novel by Irina Zhorov. A very nice photo. She was born in Uzbekistan in the Soviet Union and moved to Philadelphia on the eve of the USSR's dissolution. Oh, wow. Okay. Sounds good. Last book, guys. And then I will sign off for the day. This cover feels different. Oh, the dust jacket wow, this is different. I've been meaning to get this for a while, just because I know the author is sometimes controversial. And this one is nonfiction, so this is the one nonfiction, but it was in the stack. So I'm just going to tell you about it. Sorry. It just happened to be there. And this is Bret Easton Ellis. And this is, you can't even see the title because it says white. Okay. It has a really sticky bottom. Like, it's not sticky, but the paper is interesting. But white. You can barely see it. It's fading out. I think it's trying to make a statement. In White, his first work of nonfiction, Bret Easton Ellis combines social observation and personal reflection in a wide-ranging exploration of our era's manifold transformations. Throughout the book, we witness him in various stages: a childhood in Los Angeles, a blazing youthful success with his debut novel, Less Than Zero, which was a horrible movie, by the way. I'm sure the book might have been better, but the movie was just bad news. An ongoing career with 6 more books that has earned him devoted readers as well as harsh detractors. Told you he's controversial. With American Psycho, the creation of contemporary fiction's most polarizing character, and with the advent of Trump, living in a nation seemingly determined to tear itself apart. And all the while, Ellis describes how our country's structure and nature have evolved gradually and relentlessly and suddenly into the age of social media, when the contradictions inherent in all of us are at risk of being erased. Hence, you can't see the wording. It's being erased. The culture at large seemed to encourage discourse, he writes, but what it really wanted to do was shut down the individual. His forthright views about this young century, informed by the fame and notoriety he has wrestled with for more than 3 decades, are powered by a fervent belief in artistic freedom and freedom of speech, each now endangered. In White, he considers conflicting positions without flinching, without adhering to any status quo, and with candor, humor, and authenticity, he offers assessments that are impossible to dismiss or ignore, and certain to startle and provoke both enemies and allies. What Bret Easton Ellis values above all is honesty, however painful it might be, and the truth. Well, I'm all about truth, so we'll see. I'll read this and see what I think about it. Yeah, it's kind of different. I haven't really, like I said, I've seen the movie. I've seen American Psycho and Less Than Zero. American Psycho was a great movie, although very disturbing. And part of me wants to maybe read his fiction, you know. He has a new book out called The Shards, and I'm intrigued by. I'm just waiting for a sale because it's still it's brand new, and so I'm just waiting for a price drop on that. But yeah, and here's our author, I should say. That's Bret Easton Ellis right there. Oh, but yeah, this was super cheap on Hamilton. So if you're interested in a work of nonfiction by a major writer about the current culture, say you can't go wrong for $2.95 or whatever. I think it was probably $2 or $3.95. It was really cheap and a very nice hardcover with no remainder marks. It's just beautiful. Okay, guys, so that is my stack of fiction, mostly fiction with a little, odds and ends thrown in. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment below and anything that really stood out to you. And as always, please leave a comment. If you enjoyed this video, please like. And hey, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. That's all I can say. I do a lot of history. I do a lot of fiction. I need to get back into my Marple a Month series with my partner Martine. We have some fun dissecting Agatha Christie novels and their television adaptations. We have a lot of fun with those. So we'll get back on the horse with that. I promise it's coming. All right, guys. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you're all doing well, and we'll see you next time here at the History Shelf.